All right, so you've seen these disturbing images. You know, there are world events like the immigration enforcement that we are seeing, and the recent shootings involving federal agents in Minneapolis have kids asking a lot of questions, because if you are parents of kids that age, they know they can feel what's going on and they ask the questions. It can be hard to know exactly what to say, especially if you're first-time parents and you haven't done anything like this before. Our parenting expert, Dr. Cheryl Ziegler, joins us now, and you've gathered some questions that kids have asked, and you want to share the answers with us. So what are you going to start with? Because it can be difficult to even approach a subject with your kids.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, like starting off with, some kids just want to know, like, well, what is ICE? What is this? They're very confused. Yeah. They don't have uniforms that are identifiable for kids. So they're asking genuinely, what is this? And one kid actually said to me, and when they were in a group, how did anybody know who was who? Because they don't, the lack of a uniform that's acceptable is very confusing. So I do think as a parent, one of the first things I always like to remind people is a good first question is, tell me what you know, what did you hear? Right. Always a good place to start. Where are they coming from? Yeah. Now you're grounded, you know where they're coming from.
So you don't overshare anything that doesn't necessarily need to be shared.
Exactly. Or maybe they say something like really, really off and you go, oh, okay. I know I need to make sure to address that. So always find out, what do you know, what are people talking about? But then I think when it comes to ICE, I think you answer, where there's a federal agency called Immigration Customs Enforcement. And what that means is they're looking for people who are here illegally, and things are going, but this is the first time this has ever happened here, really, and things are not going that well. And there are scary things and upsetting videos that have gone around, right? I think you kind of pause there. Another question I've gotten is, why do they call them illegal aliens? Oh.
Yeah.
And I think this is really important, and for adults too, because I hear plenty of adults use the same term. I think for kids, when they hear that word alien, that's a Martian, right? That's something from it's not human.
Yes, and it's E.T. from our childhood.
Right.
It's whatever from now. Yeah,
right.
I have to explain that.
It's not human. And if you think of somebody as not human, then I guess you can treat them like they're not human. So I think a good thing to say is, well, that's a great question. An illegal alien is actually a legal term. That's not a term we're going to probably use, but that's a legal term. It's used in law, and sometimes people still use it. But what it means is a person who is here in our country who may not be here legally, or maybe they're not supposed to be here, or they don't have the right documents to be here. That's what it means. And then pause, right? And depending on the kid, whether you're talking to an 8-year-old or a 15-year-old, let them then come to you with the follow-up question or their thinking. So give them short, factual answers, and then let them ask you. And I hope that what I'm saying, no matter what your politics or even how you feel about things, just really sticking to the facts. We need to get grounded. Like, let's make sure we're speaking the same language.
Yeah, 100%. As for the video, that's another question that you got, because it's nearly impossible to shield a kid from this video.
Yes.
If they're old enough to have a phone.
Yes.
It's there. My parents don't want me to watch it. What should I do if I see it again? What do you say on something like that? Because personally, I can't watch much of that.
Oh, yes.
This one
is so disturbing.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that one of the things I like to say is, when your parents say they don't think it's a good idea for you to watch this, or if they say, I did already watch it, my parents say I shouldn't watch it anymore. So I do sort of twofold. The first half was, anytime you see something disturbing, please remember you can always put your phone down and press pause, take a breath, and take a break from it. And then the next part is, and remember, if you keep watching the video, or now you start looking it up, the algorithm on your social media app is going to completely change.
Yep.
It is all you're going to get. And now I say to them, which I have said to them, and when this is all you see over and over and over when you're scrolling, you actually start to believe this is the only thing happening in the world and there isn't anything else. So please just remember that you do not want to feed your algorithm. You want to put it down, you want to take a break, and you should talk to somebody, a trusted friend or a trusted adult, about what you've seen.
A conversation for another day, I'm guessing, would be how to discuss the political climate with your kids. But in lieu of that, everything, including what we're talking about right now, has politics attached to it these days. So when you're trying to describe the word illegal, or you're trying to describe who's here without documents, or why ICE is going and looking for these people, it's political. What do you say to a child who sees perhaps a mother and a father disagreeing on this subject, or a father and a grandmother, whatever, relatives who don't see it the same way?
Yes. So, and I have been posed with that question. It was about a dad and his dad, you know, a grandpa and a dad. And he said, why do you think they were fighting so much? And so I said, you know, when people feel really passionate about something, sometimes we get really upset. And anytime even you feel that, what should you do? Take a break. You know, the reminder of like, take a break and step away. And so I said, your dad and your grandpa, they still love each other. We can still love each other and disagree about certain things. My guess is that they have really passionate feelings about this, and you should talk later on with both your mom and dad, or whoever is, you know, their caregivers, about it, and say to them, I noticed when you were talking about that thing in the news, you guys were yelling at each other really mad. What was wrong? I think if we can give kids power, I mean, if they're just sitting back and watching things happen and no one's talking about it, no one's explaining it, that's what's scary. The information, it is scary, but it's actually less scary than just the not knowing and the wondering.
Yeah, parents need to be reminded kids are always listening.
Oh,
They're always
they're
listening.
absorbing, paying
Your
attention.
tone, your attitude, they take everything. So sometimes that's a good thing for them to say, why are you arguing? Sometimes it maybe makes the adults go, ooh.
Maybe we should stop arguing.
We should
so
probably
much.
stop this,
Yeah,
right?
and the questions they
That's
ask,
good.
the questions
Yeah.
they ask are really pointed and on point in a lot of these situations.
Yeah.
I found out.
Yes.
We could go on and on.
We could.
We'll have to bring it up again. Thank
Always
you,
great to
Dr.
talk to
Cheryl
you.
Ziegler.
Yeah, thank you.